It was a rigged election. Everybody now knows that. They found out. People will soon be prosecuted for what they did. It's probably breaking news, but it should be. It was a rigged election. Can't have rigged elections.
Yeah, I agree with him that you can't have rigged elections. That's why I and so many Americans are really anxious about 2026. But no, it wasn't. 2020 election was not rigged. They didn't rig it. You were the president during the election? How would the Democrats have rigged it? And if they did rig it while you were in power, why did they forget to do it in 2024? That is such a devastating question that no right winger will ever have the sliver of a testicle necessary to answer. Why didn't they rig it in 2024 when Biden was in charge? Why did Trump win states in 2024 that he didn't win in 2020? Oh, sorry, that he did win, but that it was rigged or whatever. This is utterly pathetic, but it is also unfortunately consequential because the rig has begun. Maybe best case scenario, Donald Trump is just so terminally triggered about the fact that he lost in 2020 that's why he decided to raid Georgia's election center this week. But maybe it's the beginning, at least of the pretense of why they need to rig 2026. So he posted this: Trump won big, crooked election. Tell it to a judge, Grandpa. And unfortunately, he tried and failed dozens and dozens and dozens and dozens of times because there was no evidence. And let's be clear, so they did this search warrant at the elections warehouse of Fulton County, Georgia. Again, interesting that Georgia was rigged, but just in Fulton County. All the rural areas, Democrats had no power there. It was just in the more pigmenty sections of Georgia that all the corruption was going on. So anyway, so he busted into there. And here's the thing. I'm not mad about this because I'm worried, oh God, they're gonna find something. There is no evidence in that warehouse of any fraud, or at least there wasn't when they raided it. What's gonna happen now? Now that they've got the boxes, now that they go away, these people declared Renee and Alex domestic terrorists. Despite the fact the video was already going around showing them being brutally murdered, these people have no qualms about lying at all. And then there's the things that I can't necessarily prove, but that are very suspicious. It was certainly a thing over the past few months for people to write their motivations on the shell casings of their bullets. And so again, maybe that's real, maybe. I don't know. I don't trust these people. Do you think what? Kash Patel, Tulsi Gabbard are gonna be told by Donald Trump, you're gonna prove that that election was stolen or else you're gonna lose your job. And Tulsi Gabbard's gonna be like, I'm standing on principle, President. Fire me if you must. I would never tell a lie to the American people. Who the hell thinks that? Who thinks Kash Patel is gonna expose them lying? Who thinks Pam Bondi's gonna do that? Dan Bongino ran away because of what he saw on the inside. And so anyway, I'm very worried about this. In any event, we do know a copy of the warrant was obtained by the Washington Post. They said the search was part of a criminal investigation into possible violations of 2 federal laws. One regarding the retention and preservation of election records by officials, and the other criminalizing efforts to defraud voters from an impartially conducted election. They took 700 boxes, and that included all physical ballots from the 2020 election. So theoretically, they could just throw away a bunch and then say we're doing a federal recount or something. I mean, it would be clownish. Nobody who's serious is gonna buy it. But nobody buys Trump won big, crooked election. That doesn't stop him from tweeting it. They took voter machine tabulator tapes, images produced during the ballot count, and voter rolls from that year. By the way, the person who the prosecutor that was listed on the warrant, is not from Georgia, which is normally what would happen considering that it was done in Georgia. It was a US attorney for the Eastern District of Missouri, Thomas Albus, Dumbledore, I think. Looking into this guy, he was the prosecutor that agreed to drop charges on a guy that was represented by Pam Bondi's brother. Weird, the network, the Pepe Sylvia that you could do for this entire thing. And very interesting, I haven't referenced Tulsi Gabbard for no reason. She was there at the raid. And if that strikes you as strange, good instincts, why is the director of national intelligence at this election? I mean, let's say hypothetically that they did, the 2 things they charged him with, they didn't keep the records they were supposed to. What the hell does the DNI have to do with any of that? Not doing a full count of the votes or whatever. What the hell does the DNI have to do with literally any of that? There is no reason that's been given, no plausible explanation as to why Tulsi Gabbard would be involved in this, other than that she's a loyalist and she will tell any lie, she'll do anything to maintain proximity to power. So that's what I'm concerned about. I think you should be concerned about it as well. She says that she has a major role in election security or whatever, but you didn't in 2020. What the hell does that have to do? Like anything that was done then, that's for the lawyers to litigate. You don't know, and by the way, she doesn't know anything about it now, whether it's her role or not, and it wasn't in 2020. And at the end of the day, look, I'm torn between these two positions. This is what I'll end on. So one, this is super serious and super dark because the election was not stolen. Donald Trump knows the election was not stolen, but he is pretending that the election was stolen, and the FBI is now pretending that the election was stolen on his behalf, and God only knows where we go from here. And whatever it is, whatever report Tulsi Gabbard writes, who knows what it is that they do based on that to try to clamp down on future elections. So this is super serious, super important. On the other hand, Donald Trump is the pettiest bitch ever. What a whiny little baby. I mean, it is 2020 frickin' 6 right now. And he is still whining about the fact that he lost the election. And look, if he'd lost that election and then lost the primary or lost in 2024, then okay, I sort of get why he can't get past that, why his tiny little shriveled up mind can't get past it. But he is the president right now. What more do you want, dude? What more do you want? You're the president, not just the president, you're the God Emperor. You're the king. The Supreme Court has said it. What more could you want? What does it matter at this point? And again, it doesn't even matter because he knows he didn't lose. And it is so strange to me that he doesn't get that continuing to whine about this is way weaker than just moving on. You keep reminding people the fact that you lost in 2020. And so, yeah, I wanna mock him. I'm gonna err more on the serious side. I am very worried about where this goes. This is the story, by the way, of 2026. Sure, the ICE stuff super important, foreign policy stuff super important, all that is, the corruption, all this is super important. But if they steal this election, then that's it for any of this. I mean, if they'll do it in a midterm election, they'll do it in a presidential election. And what's the point of us talking about any of this, convincing people of any of this, if we can't get back into power to actually do something about it? So definitely stay tuned on this. When your company is growing fast, damage control is essential, especially in order fulfillment. Before ShipStation, we'd spend hours tracking orders and following up with customers. Now, our team has cut that time in half. With ShipStation, you can basically let your shipping go on autopilot because it's just that easy now. The problem is usually too many disconnected tools. ShipStation solves that core problem. It's an intelligence-driven platform that brings order management, rate shopping, inventory, returns, and analytics all into one place. Connect to over 200 sales channels. And instead of 5 to 7 confusing apps, you've got just one command center. And here's the best feature. It compares rates from USPS, UPS, and FedEx, including your negotiated discounts, to find the best option for every order with savings up to 90% off. Already have carrier rates? Bring them. Keep your discounts and add ShipStation's automation. Set up rules once and ShipStation picks the best carrier, finds the best rate, prints labels in bulk, and even sends tracking updates. Those tracking updates alone cut customer service inquiries by 12%. Plus, their returns management and analytics show you exactly what's coming back and where you can optimize. Try ShipStation free for 60 days with full access to all features, no credit card needed. Go to ShipStation.com and use code DAMAGE for 60 days for free. 60 days gives you plenty of time to see exactly how much time and money you're saving on every shipment. That's ShipStation.com, code DAMAGE. ShipStation.com, code DAMAGE.